Ladies and gentlemen, do you recall the last time you were hit by a memory-erasing shockwave? I see. Well, in that case, you can relate to Thymesia, an indie Souls-like developed by Overboard Studio that has left me with one mind-boggling question.
What the fuck is a Thymesia?
That word doesn't register in my mind, the same way my mind doesn't register the concept of dying. I beat the game, got all the achievements, and did so without perishing a single time. But Serjuh, how could that be? There's literally an achievement for dying. In Thymesia, you play as Corvus, a fella that is reliving his past to restore his memory. It's unclear as to how he lost it, but judging by the fact that he wears a sniffing mask, we can safely deduct that an odorous overdose is the culprit. From the hub, you choose a memory to recall. Completing the objective within restores the memory and unlocks more recall opportunities. Dying at any point during a recall prompts you with a memory interrupted text. If you aren't looking at your screen, you wouldn't even notice it, since Thymesia is very frugal with its sound effects, something a little editing magic can fix. The fact it says memory interrupted implies that in an accurately recalled memory, there's no perishment involved, meaning that I, canonically, did not die a single time. There's three primary recall themes to go through: the Serious Sam 2 Tree Village gone wrong, the Monthly Chasm, and Hermes Fortress, the only pleasant one out of the bunch. While the locations don't impress aesthetically speaking, they do a nice job of conveying that the actions of Obama in that one game have tremendous consequences here. The point of the story is remembering what cure Corvus found to stop Obama. The story doesn't explicitly say this, nor does it say anything, as there's nothing but To learn more about this universe, you'll have to look around for readable lore bits that will detail the who's, how's, and why's, without any concrete indicator as to what Corvus did. That's left up to whoever plays as him, aka you, my new subscriber. After defeating the main boss, you'll have to make a decision based on the information you gathered, which will grant you one of 5 endings. If you don't like the result, you can call it cap and go again. But to get to that point, you have to play the game. Thymesia is a short little Souls-like that has an interesting arsenal for you to play around with. Slashing around won't get you far, as your saber is not made for killing, but rather for wounding. In this game, there is this health mechanic where physical damage chips the health bar, revealing the green wound bar, which will replenish unless removed. For that, you must take a sip of a Monster Energy drink and let it run through your veins, granting you power. With it, you can hack away the wounds or yoink an opponent's weapon for a quick test. Each enemy type, bosses included, can be farmed for shards that unlock an ability in your arsenal. Some look cool but feel lackluster due to a lack of sound effects, while others allow you to breeze through mobs and, most importantly, bosses. I found the wound damage mechanic to be one that really favors a defensive playstyle, as being actively on the offensive opens you up for combos that could knock you back. That's not really an issue if you're deflecting attacks and using each opening to claw their wounds down. That doesn't mean the game will be smooth sailing though. Some moves require different approaches. For special attacks, you could throw a properly timed feather or dodge into the attack if the prerequisite talents are active. For ultimates, just run. I found these too troublesome to escape, so instead I will tank him, like a boss. Luckily, ultimates are few and far in between, much like the game's bosses. There's a total of 7 big bads in Thymesia, 3 of which give a proper fight, while the rest are completely trivialized by deflecting, or better yet, by a single button. But that's all hindsight. The first interaction will always be a challenging one as you adapt to new attack patterns, though no encounter is as challenging as the achievements. Rolling through 1,000 barrels might not seem like much on paper, however Thymesia is a quite short game. You'd be lucky to roll through 200 barrels on a natural playthrough. To get the rest, you'll have to beacon cheese, preferably in the first Hermes Fortress mission. If you want the tank to have extra stank, you can also cheese levels. Combining 3 herbs in the potion crafting menu gives additional effects, one of which increases the amount of memory shards you gain. Now what would happen if you were to decide the burden of responsibility is too much to bear? Well, you'd respawn by the nearest beacon. And what would happen if you were to pop a potion before picking up your memory shards? Well, you'd get more. You can see where I'm going with this. Cheese aside, Thymesia is a cute little game to finish in one weekend. While it fails to feel grand in its boss fights due to a lack of sound effects and voice acting, it makes up for it with a few challenging encounters.
Monster Energy.
I was a big fan of the fist ability. I guess we have Chris Brown to thank for that one. And so, the final rating for I Forgore the game is a solid out of 10. That's a booty. Don't forget to slap like, slap wife, hit scrub robe, and I'll catch ya next time.